Hey, it's Lewis Matthews from Rise Fitness HQ, and today we're taking a look at the overhead press. So of course the overhead press is an amazing movement for developing strength in your upper body, so in your shoulders and in your triceps, but also what's often neglected or forgotten about is how good it is at tying in the rest of your body. For an overhead press, whatever muscle is underneath the bar has to be doing some form of work to keep you stable and strong. So your feet have to be set and gripping the floor, your spine needs to be set into a neutral position to act as that pillar of strength. So your glutes are going to be squeezing, your abs and your core is going to be switched on to keep that pressure and keep that balance and stability. And then that way, everything that's switched on, keeping you stable and strong, ties into this exercise. So this is the primary movement for a vertical push. And it's great exercise for athleticism as well as building strength and as well as building some muscular size, because it ties in the rest of the body, it involves the core to a great amount. All too often this exercise is sort of overlooked and bench press becomes the main movement for pushing. But this exercise needs just as much attention as your bench press does. So we're going to break this down into 3 steps on how to do this exercise safely and effectively. Okay, so step 1 is all about your hand, hips and foot position. This is the starting point to perform this effectively and safely, because it's going to tell you how to set up and be in a strong position before you even lift. So the first thing we're going to look at is where you're going to put your hands. And your hands are going to be set just outside shoulder width apart. The reason they're going to be set outside shoulder width apart is because when we perform the movement, we want that to be in front of the body. We don't want to be hands out wide, therefore pushing our hands and arms wide, creating a position where you could cause some impingement in the shoulders. Our body doesn't like to be in that position. It creates some pain and potential impingement in the shoulders, whereas if it's in front, that's naturally where that arm moves and wants to be. So we have to keep those hands slightly narrower than you would think and push with the elbows and arms in front of you. Once you've set that position, you walk up to the bar and have it at chest height. The second thing is going to be your hips. So with your hips, what generally happens is people push and end up with this big curve in their lower back because they haven't got any stability set in their core. So what you have to do, squeeze your glutes as hard as you can, engage the core. That keep a nice neutral hip position and a strong stable surface to push from. Talking of a strong stable surface to push from, the point of contact to the floor is going to be your feet. So as much as that weight is up above your head, your feet need to be set again at hip to shoulder width apart, but we're going to grip the floor. So you can see there how I create a big arch and it turns my knees out to the side. That's just creating a strong stable base to push from. So we set the hands outside shoulder width apart, walk up to the bar, take the weight, squeeze the glutes, and we're set and ready to push. So step 2 is going to be the push. Once you've unwrapped this bar, so from the points from step 1, step yourself back or forward, set the feet, squeeze the glutes, and then we're going to tuck the shoulder blades back and down. Rib cage is set straight forward, it's not up. We've got an arch in the back. We're squeezing the glutes to keep the hips set, and then we're up. But notice here, as I push, my elbows are staying forward and in front. So what you can see there as I'm pushing is that my elbows are staying in front of the body. They might flare slightly towards the top, and that's okay, but as long as they're not flaring right out wide. As I'm pushing, as I go up, that chest is staying forward and my head comes through. So we're up and head through. That way, when the bar's at the highest points, it's aligned over the middle of your foot and everything's stacked underneath. Again, if those elbows turn out, then we're causing the risk of impingement, but also if your glutes and your core isn't switched on, as you push and struggle, you end up arching and pushing here, which in essence is just a standing bench press or chest press. It's not targeting the muscles we want, and of course it's causing too much stress in that lower back. So again, hip set, core switched on, rib cage straight forward, everything's tight. If you're loose like this, you'll be able to fit your hand under your ribs. So you can see there if I'm not switched on, you can fit underneath, whereas as soon as you tighten up and get those ribs set, you can't get your hands under your ribs, so you're ready to go. So for lowering the bar, watch the elbows, they're going to stay in tight. So they're up, and as they come down, they're tucked in. Lowering the weight in front of the face, letting it pass by down to the chest. Push up, the head's through, and then slightly back with the elbows in front, down to the chest. It's only small movements as we lower it down. The key for when you're lowering the weight is going to be that you have to keep the chest locked in and down and you don't tilt back. And also that your elbows stay in. Habit would say to put them out, to bring it down and lean back, but we want you to stay forward and bring that bar down in front of you. So let's look at some common problems. We've gone through the 3 steps, but let's look at some common problems. Too often this exercise can turn into, let's call it a standing chest press, where you're leaning right back, pressure in the lower back and actually just pushing with your upper chest quite a lot. The issue with this is the risk that you're putting your lower spine under. It's just too much with a weight over your head, putting all that pressure through that difficult position with no stability. That's just a risk that we don't want to take. So the second main point we can take from that was that the elbows need to be in front of the body. If they're too far wide, we're just in that position where there can be a bit of an impingement in the shoulder. We want to be able to move in front so that there's a nice area for the shoulder to move in, the arm to move in that shoulder girdle, rather than out wide and pinch it. And the common reason for both of these to be a problem is that you need to leave your ego at the door, because usually that happens if people are trying to lift too much weight. If people are trying to lift too much weight, they try and get behind it, or they try and give themselves stability with their elbows really wide. Reduce that weight down, get the form right and build from there. So learn to move and then get stronger in those movements. And the third point would be to keep your elbows tucked in under the hands to protect that shoulder joint. So thank you for watching this video. And if you want some more step-by-step guides on how to perform each and every exercise, then continue watching this channel and don't forget to hit subscribe to notify you when new content comes in.